Alright guys, round 3 tonight's FNM standard tournament. On the left we've got Rick Pittman playing Mono Blue Devotion with a white splash for Detention Sphere in the main and Rootborn defenses out of the sideboard. And his opponent is Garrett Meadows, who's playing blue-white control. So Rick with no 1 or 2 drop. And then Garrett reloading his hand with a turn 3 divination. There is a Nightfield Spectre, so we'll see if Garrett has a last breath to answer that. There's a Jace Architect of Thought. He's going to tick it up to 4, but he's still going to allow the Spectre to connect here, so we'll see what comes off the top. So the Spectre serves in for 1, and then a Thassa makes an appearance. So Garrett ticking up Jace to 6. Needs to deal with that Spectre, otherwise Thassa going to be live more than likely next turn. There's a D-Sphere targeting Thassa. It is going to connect. I don't think there's a 1-mana counterspell in the format currently. So Thassa down, Nightveil Spectre still a 1-2, or still a 1-3 thanks to the Jace trigger. But he's still going to get in and be able to steal another card. So Spectre serves in along with the Mutavault. Divination is the reveal from the Spectre, so pretty good one to find on the top of Garrett's deck, as that will help. Rick will be able to cast it first of all, and then he will be able to get some card advantage, which is incredibly important in this matchup. Oftentimes Biden is the most important card in this matchup, and Divination sure helps in that situation. Rick going to go ahead and play a Nykthos and cast it. So Garrett in a pretty good spot here, facing down only action from a Nightveil Spectre, which is effectively keeping at bay with the Jace +1. Garrett deep into the game, not having taken really any significant damage. Going to choose to -2 the Jace this time, revealing 2 verdicts and an Azorius Charm. And Rick splits the 2 verdicts, and Garrett gets a lot of value out of that. So now we're sitting on a verdict and a charm here. Plays his 6th land and just passes back. So we're leaving up charm here for the Spectre, more than likely. As without the Jace trigger this turn, Rick could kill Jace if he wanted to, but not serving in with the Mutavault. Interesting that Rick attacks here first, so he's not going to be able to activate Nykthos if he has some other cards in his hand. I see at least at 1 Frostburn. Weird. There's a replacement Spectre. question in the chat about the Hallowed Fountain that Rick plays. Rick plays white in this deck. A very light splash for D-Sphere in the main deck and Rootborn defenses out of the side. That's a twist that he's always played, so. So following up the Azorius Charm on the Night Veil, Rick is going to replace the Night Veil and play a Frostburn Weird, and Garrett's going to use a Quicken to cast an instant speed Divination. We know that a Supreme Verdict is on its way. But Rick does have a couple of Mutavaults there. Garrett plays a white land after casting the Verdict, so potentially leaving up Last Breath in this spot. So we'll see if Rick decides to go aggro. He does not, but thanks to Nykthos, there's a dissolve on the Night Veil Spectre, and now because of that, Rick doesn't have any blue mana. Garrett shoves the card off dissolve. So Rick plays an island here. We can serve in with 2 Mutavaults if we want to. Keep Jace down at 1, probably the play here, I think. Keep Garrett from, well, I guess no, it might as well just serve into Garrett, I guess, because of the delayed Jace trigger. And that's what Rick decides to do. So Garrett down to 15, but in a pretty good spot here. 7 lands on board, activating Jace. There's a Disperse, a Singleton Disperse in his deck, a Guildgate, and a Sphinx's Rev. Rev or no, says Rick on the split. There's the Sphinx's Revelation that we knew about off the Jace reveal. The chat pointing out that line Garrett could have taken there rather than casting the instant speed Divination, leaving the Quicken up for Supreme Verdict in order to take out those Mutavaults, but Garrett choosing not to go that route. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. So we activate our 2 Mutavaults and we cast a Master of Waves. That's going to be enough to force enough damage through to kill the Jace, as the Changelings are elemental, so they get buffed by the Master. So we'll see what Garrett's answer is to the current board state. There is a Last Breath to answer the Master of Waves. Garrett doing that on his turn to play around any potential counter magic. So I don't think the mono blue deck really plays that much counter magic in the main here. So Athasa hits. We're loading up our Mutavaults, which can attack for 4 now. Last Breath 1. And then offering up the trade with Mutavault. 1 Mutavault, and that's going to be good enough. So both Mutavaults down. Thassa on board, but Garrett not under any pressure here. The Thassa Scry ability is going to help Rick dig out of this, but Garrett just needs to find a win condition at this point. A grip full of cards, unlikely that anything is going to resolve, I would think, as we ship off the Thassa Scry. And there's an end of turn Sphinx's Rev. Only for 3, leaving up Dissolve in case Rick does have an answer. Though again, I'd be curious to see, absent deck list, to see what counter magic Rick actually plays in the main. I know in the sideboarded games he has access to a lot. Gainsay at a minimum, I think Negate as well. So there's 4 mana for Abidant. That's going to meet a Dissolve. It's actually really a troublesome card in this matchup. Obviously not at this stage of the game, but Garrett's still unwilling to let that hit. Let Rick possibly draw out of the situation he's in. Garrett just looking for an Elspeth or an Aetherling, some way to close this game out. There's a Cloud Fin Raptor, the most pathetic creature in history. The turn 20 Cloud Fin Raptor. And Garrett answers with a creature of his own, his, however, being much better in the form of Aetherling. So it still will be a 4-turn clock, even with maximum pump. But Garrett basically locking up this game. In essence, Scatter going to answer the third Nightveil Spectre of the game. But likely just going to make Aetherling unblockable. And serve in for the maximum of 8 each turn. So the first attack will put Rick down to 20. We've played a lot of Magic and both of our players still at 20 life. But Garrett quickly closing in on this one, and Rick has had enough. And Nykthos in hand, Island off the top, going to be very difficult for him to move on from there. So a slow start from Rick. Remember, no 1-drop, no 2-drop. And a turn 3 Thassa answered, or a turn 3
He's very tired, I guess.
Okay. Well, he lost to Dave Brown.
Did he?
Yeah. That went to time.
Yeah.
They will do that to you. Well, that's unfortunate, but what can you do? Yeah, so other undefeated players tonight, Jonathan Wright on blue-white, Justin Carpenter on Gruul mid-range, the 2 players we're seeing right now, Vince on Boros Burn, Dave Brown on whatever Dave Brown plays. Yeah, I know he won. I was saying earlier, he won game 1 or 2 against James by casting Rise of the Dark Realms, getting all of James's creatures back, including Fanatic and Magus for like 20.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I wish I had on camera.
Yeah, he runs Sanguine Blood or something like that.
No, I think it's a different deck than that one.
Is it?
Yeah, but he does have that Angelic Accord deck.
I do know he has Deathless in his deck right now.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And then the last undefeated player is Logan Cutlip, who also had a round 1 bye on blue-white control. He got paired down against Jeremy Bales, who's playing black-white humans.
Yeah, that's not going. There's a 2-1 out that he can't answer, really.
Huh?
Soldier of Pantheon. Blue-white, the only answer is like...
Last breath.
Yeah, I forgot about Last Breath. Anything else but Supreme Verdict. Just the only answers.
What's your shirt say? Be a little twisted.
That's my dad's shirt.
Was last week your dad's shirt too?
Nah, that's not. Gotta wear the triple X.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Twisted sounds more like an adjective used to describe a black mage than someone said African American mage. Oh, that's an easy one, but a good one. I liked it.
Yeah.
So we have a pug, and obviously pugs come in 2 kinds. You have fawn, which is like the light gray like kind of one, and then black. But we like to refer to them as African American pugs because more fun that way.
Yeah. New Cube's out on the meta?
Yeah, it's back. Came back yesterday, I think, didn't it?
I think so.
Have you been cubing it up?
Probably tonight, though. It's all the cube.
Are you guys not pre-releasing?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. Tomorrow. I think they are. They're red. I'm probably going to give them red if they can't find one.
I'm running the event tonight, and then I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
I don't have multiple. Can you click that? It's a little. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
Plus, the Super Bowl was Sunday. Like, it's just an awkward time of year to be doing like.
Magic. Yeah.
Well, I told somebody was talking about that on Twitter today, and it was just like, well, Magic's like an international game, and it's hard to avoid conflicts. And I was just like, yeah, but like that's a pretty like international televised event.
Yeah.
You know. I'm not saying it's not a traditional American, American-centric, football is the most important thing in the world, but like it is the most highly watched television show
Oh, yeah.
in most countries on a calendar year. I'll be watching it. Because why not? I got my wife a deep fryer for Christmas, so I told her she needs to make chicken wings and pierogies.
Oh yeah. So, the deep fryer.
I just put anything in there.
Oh yeah.
Whatever we got, it goes in. Watch out, dog. You better stay away.
Yeah.
You might go in.
Snickers.
Maybe. Only in America, right? So let's talk about this game here. Garrett got game one off the back of just some strong, controlled draws. Rick didn't really have a lot of aggro to start with, and just never really got anything going, and Garrett win in the end with an Aetherling. Here in game two, Rick starting off a little bit slow as well. Last breath taking out a Tidebinder Mage. Garrett's got to feel pretty good about that. Casting that into 3 open mana from Rick, and it's still resolving.
Who's a Nightveil?
Nightveil Spectre, what did I say?
Tidebanger. Mage.
Tidebanger?
Tidebanger. Get her done.
Get her done. Safely.
Yeah.
So Garrett just content to play Drago, passing back, this time landing his Divination. A Frostburn Word is going to evolve a Cloudfin Raptor, so we'll be able to get in for 3 here. So Rick,
That seemed right.
Huh?
Yeah, he forgot to activate the Mutable. Can attack for 2.
Well, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You'll have that. Playing a little bit, I think he got too caught up on his Evolve trigger, and then missed it. This is the problem with the mono blue deck, is that Master of Waves and Thassa are incredibly powerful magic cards.
Yeah.
But in order to effectively play them, you have to fill your deck with horrible magic cards, like Cloudfin Raptor and Tidebinder Mage, and to a lesser extent Frostburn Weird, although it does do work in some matchups. In other matchups, it is horrible.
Yeah, but against control, it's very good.
Yes, because it's a 4-power threat that they have to deal with. You can effectively play that and say, deal with this before I play anything. But like last game, we saw like the worst case scenario where Rick on like turn 20 top decks a Cloudfin Raptor. Like it might as well not be a card in your deck,
Yeah.
There we go. So we've loaded up the Mutavault this time. We know there's not going to be any Quicken Supreme Verdict shenanigans here.
Trade Mutavaults here.
Absolutely. Well, it depends on your hand. If you have an Elspeth, I think you don't, but
if you have a Supreme Verdict, you definitely do.
Yep.
Looks like he's not.
He's choosing not to do that. So we're choosing how much we want to sink into a Frostburn Weird. So we're leaving 3 mana up, which usually indicates that Rick has one of his sideboarded Supreme Rootborn defenses. Yep. So Rootborn defenses will be a blowout here. It will end the game, as Garrett is currently dead on board. He's been digging furiously with the main phase Divination, trying to find an answer, but
Discarded a land. Discarded a land.
Yeah. Well, he cast 2 Divinations. Like he hasn't cast he cast a Last Breath and 2 Divinations. That's all he's resolved this game.
I think blue.
What's the question?
They're talking about which color to get.
At the pre-release tonight?
Yeah.
I think blue is the consensus I've heard from everyone who's played already.
It's insane. Because you get that,
The promo card's really good.
yeah, it's insane. You get a free draw, or a free card every turn. It's like the best one.
The blue promo is also the best one in the Theros, that Shipbreaker, Kraken, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that's insane. I didn't play that.
Well, I remember when I saw it, I was like, all these promos suck because like it cost 8, but then like the format was so slow.
Yeah.
They were all super relevant.
It's so much different from Gatecrash.
So 2 mana for a Last Breath on the Mutavault. That's going to resolve. Then we're going to animate our own Mutavaults. We're going to trade the Tidebinder Mage here. Rick doesn't look to do anything particularly in response here. We are going to put 2 into the Frostburn Weird, so take 4 total. Garrett drops down to 2. Rick still representing Rootborn defenses.
There's no way. Yeah, he doesn't have it.
But I don't. It's one of those situations where even if he doesn't have it, it seems like a really awkward bluff to run because Garrett's not in a position where he's going to play around it.
Yeah, you can't.
Like he has 6.
Himself.
You know, it's not if he has verdict, he's going to have to cast it. So,
Yeah.
like, there's really no value to leaving it up. But I mean, it's a good bluff either way. Like, you know, Rick may not have any other business going on, so